Lynn, I know you spend a lot of time with customers identifying what their problems are when it comes to identity. What would you say is the common theme right now?
Well, first of all, we have a very diverse set of customers. And you're right, it is very much a common theme. So a lot of our customers, they struggle with one thing, is that they've got a lot of identity issues around access management, or how to make sure you have the correct entities to feed the enterprise stack. So what we always see is, in our traditional space, human identities, right? And so you may have multiple silos of fractured identity data just in the traditional human space. And then what I'm seeing now as we go into more contemporary conversations is, what are we planning to do with this proliferation of AI? That's a big issue.
So essentially what we've been seeing in terms of identity silos, identity sprawl back with directories, we're seeing that with the non-human identity. That's what you're saying?
Well, not only non-human, but again with agentic AI, because in non-human and human, it's more that traditional fractured identity and maybe different active directories or SQL databases, what have you. The agentic piece is particularly interesting because as corporations dive into this great unknown, if you will, they're operating or building these applications on different frameworks. Well, if you're building on different frameworks, then that's a fractured architecture. So it definitely aligns with what we're doing in the more traditional identity space. So it's a three identity problem, really.
So what are we doing in the traditional sense, and what are we going to do with agentic and non-human?
Well, traditional sense, what you usually see is an individual who's at a company. They may have an instance of them in multiple different data stores. What that translates into is it's very hard to feed an enterprise stack, because you need to know, well, which instance do I use, right? So Radiant Logic consolidates that into one global profile. So that's directly analogous to what we would do with non-human identities, and to extend out to an AI identity.
And I guess we're talking about a completely different scale when it comes to non-human identities and agentic identities, because a human is a human. Right. That's one identity that has multiple systems, but a human can have multiple agents.
Right, and that's exactly right. AI by itself is ephemeral by nature. I mean, this is pretty much analogous to what we used to see when Kubernetes and microservices came out. So if you can imagine, if you're retail, as you go into the holiday season, that load spins up and spins down. That's directly analogous to what AI is, right? As you deploy more agents to do a specific thing, they're going to spin up for the workload and then spin back down.